Salam and Afakir, peace and love. For Marcus Garvey's birthday today, I'm going to read an excerpt from his book, The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, also known as Africa for the Africans, page 19. Negroes robbed of their history. The white world has always tried to rob and discredit us of our history. They tell us that Tutankhamun, a king of Egypt who reigned about the year 1350 BC before Christ, was not a Negro, that the ancient civilization of Egypt and the pharaohs was not of our race. But that does not make the truth unreal. Every student of history of impartial mind knows that the Negro once ruled the world when white men were savages and barbarians living in caves, that thousands of Negro professors at that time taught in the universities in Alexandria, then the seat of learning, that ancient Egypt gave to the world civilization, and that Greece and Rome have robbed Egypt of her arts and letters and have taken all the credit to themselves. It is not surprising, however, that white men should resort to every means to keep Negroes in ignorance of their history. It would be a great shock to their pride to admit to the world today that 3,000 years ago, black men excelled in government and were the founders and teachers of art, science, and literature. The power and sway we once held passed away, but now in the 20th century, we are about to see a return of it in the rebuilding of Africa. Yes, a new civilization, a new culture shall spring up from among our people, and the Nile shall once more flow through the land of science, of art, and of literature, wherein will live black men of the highest learning and the highest accomplishments. Professor George A. Kirshner, head of the Harvard-Boston expedition to the Egyptian Sudan, returned to America early in 1923. After describing the genius of the Ethiopians and their high culture during the period of 750 BC to 350 AD in Middle Africa, he declared the Ethiopians were not African Negroes. He described them as dark-colored races, showing a mixture of black blood. Imagine a colored man in Middle Africa being anything else but a Negro. Some white men, whether they be professors or whatnot, certainly have a wide stretch of imagination. The above statements of the professors support my contention at all times that the prejudice against us as Negroes is not because of color, but because of our condition. If black men throughout the world as a race will render themselves so independent and useful as to be sought out by other race groups, it will simply mean that all the problems of race will be smashed to pieces and the Negro would be regarded like anybody else, a man to be respected and admired. Salam and Afakir, peace and love. Heed the teachings of Marcus Garvey.